The flag on our uniform is. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. You can try that with your units or with any other meetings you go to. I think it might help everyone direct their attentions towards what we need for our youth, as well as some of our, or probably all of our adult leaders. Little refresher. Getting all kinds of messages here because I moved that camera. Hey, Ron. Oh, wait a minute. I think we want to start with the gentleman from the camps. Art, you especially wanted to get that information, I think. Oh, no, you wanted to talk about the Klondike.
Yeah.
Okay, you got that in already? You're satisfied?
Well, I'll catch up with Robert a little bit. If we have some visitors here, we ought to let them.
We will have time for the other the topics. Yep.
With our
Right.
breakout for BSA, Scouts BSA leaders instead of, as compared to Cub Scout leaders.
Right.
Okay, Ron, you want to take it out way?
Sure. I guess Drew and Jonathan, which would you like? Who would like to go first?
Flip a
I
coin.
think I went first last year. Why don't we let Jonathan go first?
What are you going to do first?
Cool. Yes, that's great. Jonathan, is that okay with you?
That's fine with me.
Okay,
That
you
works.
can share screen. I think Steve made you a co-host.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
What are we doing first? Because I thought the Klondike was the first thing on the agenda that I saw.
I think John suggests we scramble the agenda so that our guests can go first.
All right. The only thing is I'm jumping off in like 5 minutes. So if you want to hear about the Klondike, I can give you something quick, or we can do it by email.
I would say go for it.
Yeah, I would just, I'm just curious what we need to be prepared for in terms of activities. What do we need to bring up? And one of the things I'm going to guess is probably like a Klondike sled.
Yep.
And I don't know whether or not, like, is this like a one-off thing where we bring one sled up for multiple patrols, or is everybody kind of going at once and I need to bring multiple sleds up? And
Yeah,
what
so a patrol is 4 to 8 kids. So depending on how you split the troop up, you could get different number of patrols. Each patrol needs a sled because they compete by patrol, and they push the sled with their gear around from station to station. And also there's a Grand Klondike sled race on Sunday morning, but especially because they're going to be going around on Saturday to different activity stations all around the camp. Each patrol will need their own sled.
Okay. And what other things do we need up there beyond our normal kind of, obviously camping and food and that type of stuff?
Yeah, so there's a list of things that you should have on each sled that you'll need to use at the activity stations. It's in the leader's guide, which we haven't got out yet. It's going to be basically the same leader's guide as we used last year. I can send you some information on that. I can send you an email with the list of suggested equipment for the patrols to have on their sled.
Okay, I believe you did send that to me, and I didn't even recall seeing a sled on the list. So let me just take a quick look at that, and it may be there, and I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I think it's kind of. There is another thing in the leader's guide that says you need a sled, but that's just kind of. Yeah. And
are there particular kind of rules for like what should be on a sled is or is not? Our troop has not done a Klondike Derby in I've joined in 2015, so this is.
Yeah, there's no like technical specifications for a Klondike sled. They usually it's a wood. You can find plans online and make things, but usually it's some kind of a wooden contraption on top of a couple of old skis that somebody pulled out of the trash.
Okay.
You can have skis, you can have wheels. Usually if there's no snow, we let people use wheels. Wheels wouldn't work very well in the snow. If it's there's no snow, then we let people use wheels or skis. We've actually had people come and they didn't have wheels, so they competed anyway with the skis in 1 year. So you would normally think that there's no snow, that the wheels would go faster. But 1 year we had a group of athletic young kids who, even without the wheels, won the overall time in the Klondike race. So
And is this 50-foot nylon rope on the list? I do see the sled and stuff on there. Is that for using for pulling the sled? What is?
no,
How-
that's one of the activity stations. It's like the Yukon Rescue or something. Did I send you a list of the activity stations too?
If it's in the last year's guide, it's in here.
Yeah, it's in the last year's guide.
Okay, so does a sled get you pulling that with a rope or something though, or you?
Yeah.
Okay, so we didn't. The sled needs to include that. Okay.
Oh, all right, when they run the sled, you need somebody behind it holding on to steer. You put the smallest, lightest kid in the sled, somebody's got to ride, and then everybody else grabs a rope and pulls. Them's the rules, and the sled can be any contraption you guys want to make. There, like Robert said, there are plans online where you can make something that looks like a replica, dog sled, but there are things that some troops have that are just kind of funky looking, and that's fine.
We do have there are in the back of our garage some old ones that and we've never used them. We're taking a look at them. So part of me just trying to understand, and one of them does have wheels on it. It's a heavy beast. The other ones don't. And okay, I'll take a closer look at the guide that you had sent out here. I skimmed quickly and I'd missed some of this. Okay.
All right.
Artie,
If you have any more questions, you can send me another email. And then, I'm going to be around during the weekend. So if you feel the need to talk on the phone, my cell phone number, I think, is on all the emails I send out. So
Great. Okay, thanks, Robert.
all right.
thanks, Robert.
All right.
John-
If nobody else has any questions about the Klondike, I'm going to jump off because I only just jumped on here to see if there's any questions in the Klondike.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
All right, take it easy.
Take care. Okay, Jonathan, you're on.
All right. Awesome. Give this a share. Try. All right.
Welcome to Yawgoog Scout Reservation, a Scout Adventureland. Our 2,000-acre reservation in the heart of southern Rhode Island has been an escape to the great outdoors for youth for over 100 years. With 3 camps on one reservation, there is a culture and history of tradition for all to explore in. Each camp with its own song and cheers, mascots, and individual waterfront with access to our 164-acre freshwater pond. Experience our historical dining halls with our top-notch menu and dining, while accommodating all food allergy, sensitivity, and dietary restriction needs. With songs and cheers, and even performances put on. Enjoy our fresh baked goods, made right in our Yawgoog Bake Shop. With almost 50 merit badges being offered here at Yawgoog, there is much to experience. During this week-long experience, Scouts can learn how to safely operate an ATV on the Yawgoog ATV training course. After completing the training, Scouts explore the Yawgoog backcountry like they've never seen it before. If climbing is your passion, take a walk over to our Challenge Center, where Scouts climb and learn teamwork and experience empowering activities. Discover all of environmental sciences and animal studies at our Kelly Nature Center. Our Gus Anthony Stockade, where you can take on art, Indian lore, basketry, leatherwork, and wood carving. Learn and experience handling a firearm or bow at one of our 3 shooting ranges. Get your hands dirty at the Yawgoog Bar with farm mechanics and plumbing. Our Camp Craft Center featuring scouting's favorites: pioneering, orienteering, wilderness survival, and cooking. For our scouts looking for rank advancement, from tenderfoot to first class, our new Frontier program is for you. Scouts can achieve their early rank advancements, such as Totemship, Firemanship, Map and Compass, at a time that works best for them, giving scouts the opportunity to rank advance while enjoying all that Yawgoog has to offer. Of course, our waterfronts with sandy beaches and clear waters, where you can kayak, canoe, paddleboard, row, sail, at our Ashaway Aquatic Center, which specializes in small boat sailing, giving scouts the opportunity to not just learn to sail, but get hands-on instruction from our dedicated, passionate staff. Or take on Adventure Island. Yawgoog is also blessed with 3 chapels and 3 chaplains, who offer daily worship Tuesday through Sunday. 3 trading posts, the 407, the Blockhouse, and the company store. Even our Scoutmasters can put their badge and advancement orders in on Saturday and are ready for pickup on Sunday. Yawgoog being over 100 years old, it certainly has its traditions. Our Sunday dress parade, the Memorial Bell Tower, where Scouts pay homage every day at noon. OA ceremonies, Scouts can even complete their Brotherhood membership at camp. Songs, cheers, the Knights of Yawgoog, and of course, our world-famous Saturday night show. Our spacious evergreen campsites give the very best camping experiences, with our patrol-sized tents, each tent sleeping 6 to 8 scouts. New shower houses with private showers in each camp, no latrines at Yawgoog, flush toilets throughout our reservation. Our staff provides the very best in customer service, vowing to always find a way to say yes, going over and beyond to make sure you have the best summer camp experience. It's a big commitment for adult leaders to attend. Our Factors Club, Wi-Fi access, adult leader training, segments, and Knights of Yawgoog give our adults the very best summer camp experience. They know the beauty and impact of Yawgoog. They return year after year to bring the best to the summer camp program. Known for their pride in tradition, heart, spirit, and safety, Yawgoog Scout Reservation, the premier camp of the Northeast. Let us not just show you, come experience for yourself. An adventure land forever. Learn more and make your reservation today at yawgoog.org.
All right.
Oh.
Okay, so it's always easier to kind of give you a little preview and then talk. That had some words in it that explained a little bit of what the program has to offer. But my name is Jonathan DeLulio. I'm the reservation director for Yawgoog Scout Reservation. We have 2,000 acres to explore, to adventure through. We've added an ATV this last year as a new program, and we're looking to expand that even more this year. We're adding in 3 new merit badges this year: fire safety, model design and building, and then blanking on the other one right now. Fire safety, model design, building, and then sustainability in our nature center. So that's a big addition, another ELA required opportunity, and we'll hopefully cut down on some of the class sizes as we've reworked some of our scheduling, and it'll help the environmental science class not to be so packed, and give some students, some scouts, another opportunity to kind of learn about sustainability. Other things that are important to know, you may have heard anything about camp before, but one of the things we pride ourselves on is our program. Taking a step into the role last year, I'll be honest, I didn't know exactly everything to do with the program because I had spent the past 10 years working on the food and warehouse sides of things. So this whole off season, I've hired Quentin Reynolds, who is our Sandy Beach camp director, to be the program director for all of camp. And we're taking a heavy look at the program that we offer. So everything down to the merit badge classes, the daily sessions at New Frontier, kind of what we offer, why we offer it, how we're teaching it, to make sure it's up to date and relevant, as a lot of things have changed over the past 20 years in scouting. We want to make sure that we're still relevant in what we're teaching. So there's a lot of amazing program opportunities. one thing I want to highlight is the pricing. You guys being part of Spirit of Adventure Council, you have that awesome opportunity with the adventure card discount. So that provides you the in-council rate with troops. So that's a great advantage you guys should take advantage of. A great perk. And the pricing for this year is $530 for the adventure card / in-council and $550 for out-of-council troops. We've lined up a lot of the pricing, so there have been numbers that haven't lined up on our end for previous years, but everything is going to be between $530 and $550. So we have several provisional programs, and those are all kind of tiered at $550 as the provisional program. But if you guys are signing up as a troop, you have that adventure card discount at $530. I'm happy to talk more details or anything specific. If anyone has any questions, I'm not sure. I'll provide my contact information in the chat, as well as the website. So if there's anyone who has any questions at any point in time, feel free to take a look at the website and contact me through there. You can send me an email. I'm happy to talk camp literally at any point in time. So I'll throw that in the chat, but if anyone has any questions for me, that is good. If not, I think it might be time for Drew.
How many scouts attend each week?
Good question. So in a full week, we're at about 1,200 scouts, 1,000 to 1,200 people. So in that ballpark. So it's probably anywhere between 600 and 1,200 throughout the summer, depending on the week.
And about equally spaced out over the 3 subcamps?
Yes. Yep.
Do the merit badges, are they run by subcamp, or is it across sections?
Really good question. So while we have 3 subcamps, we function as one reservation. So our nature centers located in 3 Point, but scouts from Medicine Bow and Sandy Beach all use the same nature center. So there's no, while everyone's competitive about their own camp and everything, we do utilize the facilities all across the reservation.
I noticed that in the video you showed, what is it, 6-person tents? Is that your standard?
Good question. Yeah. So we have 2 different sizes of tents. They're 10 by 12 or 12 by 16. The smaller ones house up to 4 scouts. The larger ones fit 6 to 8. There's been a lot of discrepancy over the past years, so it's down to 6. It still says 6 to 8 in the video, but we base it based on 6 scouts per the larger tent.
And then is there an opportunity for like patrol cooking, or
Good question. Good question. So we allow troops to cook in site if they want to. We offer dining hall meals, 3 meals a day, your entire stay. So if you're going to skip a meal and patrols want to do cooking in site to get some of those requirements done, that's absolutely okay. We also are upping our cooking merit badge to 2 sessions. So it previously was offered as 1 session, like 9 to 10:30 or 10:30 to 12, but now we're combining it so that both sessions are required, because scouts need more opportunities to cook, to learn how to cook, and all of that in cooking merit badge, and camp's the best place for that. So we're still looking at maybe even having a meal where the scouts in cooking merit badge would skip, whether it's the lunch or dinner, and have that meal that they cook in campcraft for that. But lots of opportunities around cooking.
Sounds good. Sounds very good. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there any weeks at this point that are sold out?
Week 3 is booked right now. Everything else is kind of in flux.
And our coming out of the pandemic, I pushed hard to get 2 weeks of camp, summer camp for our troop, and we were fortunate enough adults. We did 1 week at Yawgoog, 1 week at Treasure Valley, back to back, in the summer of rain. So there were some kids that were soggy for 2 weeks straight. And yeah, they did rave about the facilities down there, the bathrooms and all that type of stuff. One of the problems that we ran into had to do with scheduling. We had set up a schedule where we had the right balance of merit badges and patrol activities. But then when they got assigned, when they arrived, they ended up being on top of each other, and it really meant that, kind of basically bailed out on the patrol activities or the merit badge, whatever they decided to do for that activity block. So there was something kind of weird. I have to go back and look at it, but we thought we had it all planned out fine, and it ended up being a little of a scheduled train wreck. So I don't know whether or not, as you're looking at the program, if there's activities and merit badges happening at the same time, how do we avoid getting those things scheduled on top of each other if we are to return?
Yes.
Not sure right now. We have a poll out right now that people are supposed to have responded to by today, but I haven't responded yet. And I'm going to bring that to troop committee next Tuesday night and to try to round up, make sure I have enough adult support for either 1 or 2 weeks of camp this summer, figure that out.
Yeah, great point. I'm happy to admit where there's a lot of flaws in some of what we do. Scheduling has been the same for at least the past 30 to 40 years. So I'm so glad you brought that up, because there's something that I forgot to mention. This year we are transitioning into online medical forms through the platform of Camp Docs. So previously we've had troops mail in this gigantic packet of all of their health forms, like 3 pieces of paper, copies of rosters, et cetera, you name it, pieces of paper get piled into there, and then a check. That's all going away this year. I don't have specific answers on what you need to do yet, but I'll have video tutorials for how to access everything in Camp Docs. But we've gone along with the first phase of testing just this past week and gotten it out to a couple of council members to give that a test. But right now it's looking like you're not going to have to mail in a single thing to camp. Everything will be able to be done through that platform of Camp Docs. So I'm really excited for that. It's not something I have all the answers for, but that's going to take care of that giant packet of troop submissions, as well as everybody's medical form to online.
So is that done by the individual, or does they?
Good question. So it's going to be originally set up by the Scoutmaster. So every point of contact I've got will get a profile. In that profile, they're going to upload a roster of all the members of the troop that they want to have a profile. And then that's going to be directly on the parents. You'll be able to have oversight and be able to see, hey, Johnny Scout did fill out parts A and B, but he's still missing part C. So you'll be able to see that and know what your scouts are doing, but they also have direct access. So it's kind of streamlining and saving not only us some time for checking it, but you guys a lot of time as well, rather than collecting and running down and driving to somebody's house. All right, just hop on, take a picture of your part C and upload it to Camp Docs. So I'm really, really excited about that. It's going to save a lot of headaches.
So it's online submission and not online filling out of forms. Which part C, you need part C signed anyway, you're right. So
part C will specifically be a picture of that part C physician signature. Parts A and B will be like form entry style. So your name, contact, that sort of stuff, fillable fields.
Jonathan, this is sort of off topic, but are there opportunities during the year for Cub Scouts to visit Yawgoog for like family camp or anything like that?
Good question. So we do offer 2 weeks of day camp. The commute is probably going to be a little rough for you guys. So that's kind of the opportunity to come check it out. We welcome visitors. We had over 1,000 visitors all throughout last year. Come by, check in at the Buckland, stop by, take a hike, however it is. So if it's something you guys want to check out for a day, an afternoon, visit a troop that's going on. We're trying to brainstorm recruiting ideas for troops there, how to leverage your camp experience to help you recruit more, and that sort of thing. So we want you here. There's not a specific camp program we can offer for Cub Scouts other than Webelos and then the day camp. But Webelos, we have a resident camp. It's either a half week or a full week program. But that's kind of only the Webelos.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
You do have opportunities for troops to do off-season camping, don't you? I think that may be what George was looking into.
Yes, if that's what you were looking into, we do have weekend camping available all throughout. That's available for packs and troops. So
Okay, sounds good.
awesome.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you guys.
Drew, you're on.
Good evening, everybody. I am Drew Witluski. I'm the reservation director for Griswold Scout Reservation in Gilmington Ironworks, New Hampshire for Daniel Webster Council. Jonathan, we went last year live with MedForms Online. Greatest thing in the world. We didn't use Camp Docs, we used a different system, but greatest thing on our end. I know what you go through, you know what we go through. It helped with the leaders, I mean, tremendously. Just going in, with 2023 now, we should have been digital years ago. But good luck with that because it was huge for us. I mean, think about it. We have 2,000 scouts that are running through the reservation. A summer, and you got to go individually through 2,000 med forms, and adults, another 500, then another 100 for staff. Just keep going. It just adds and adds and adds. So good luck with that. And that's a huge thing. Welcome everybody. I know it's a late I don't even know what today is, Thursday night. In January, early January, I am looking forward to speaking with you all and speaking about Griswold Scout Reservation. We are Griswold Scout Reservation. We have 3,900 acres nestled in the Belknap Mountain Range in New Hampshire. We have 2 camps on the reservation, Hidden Valley Scout Camp and Camp Bell Camp. So we'll start with Hidden Valley, which is your traditional scout camp. We have a huge dining hall that'll feed 700. We haven't seen those numbers in a long time, but it will fit 700, this big gigantic building in the middle of camp. Throughout the day, kids come in, we do breakfast, and then they go out to their classrooms. We have 2 different scheduling periods for Hidden Valley, Monday, Tuesday, and a Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday is open program for the entire camp. So the scouts have 2 classes each day for Monday, Tuesday, and then 2 classes each day for Wednesday, Thursday, which is a morning class and afternoon class. Used to be 3 classes, a morning, 1 hour per class. And what I realized is when the scouts were going to these classes, it was taking them 10, 15 minutes to get to class. Now they're losing 10 minutes for rosters and calling everybody in. Now you're talking a half hour, maybe 25 minutes of actual content of teaching, merit badge stuff. So we changed it to about 2 hours. So they're actually getting a lot more content. They'll get that hour and a half of full content of all the scheduling and all the material that they're supposed to be getting. We changed that last year, and it's kind of a schedule. I didn't understand it because we're of older ages, but this is more of like a high school type schedule. And the kids actually really loved it this past summer. So we're going to stick with it. And then opening up Friday to be kind of an open range day where they can go anywhere. If they want to work on partials, they want to work on anything like that, they can do so throughout this schedule. So normal day, breakfast at the dining hall. They'll go to the merit badge classes. They also grab their lunch. They have their lunch out on the field. They have a bag lunch, whether it's a sandwich, a wrap, or something like that, they'll take with them. So this way they have more time in program areas. When we were doing lunch in a dining hall, it was taking about 2 hours worth of time just to get everybody to the dining hall. And we'd rather see the kids have more time with content and with scout skills and everything else that they could possibly be doing. So we went with that. Afternoon, they have a siesta, and then they go into afternoon activities, which could be either a patrol or a troop activity, whether it's on the waterfront or if it's on the shooting sports range, a cope course, the ecology unit, scoutcraft. We have all the same individual areas that most individual scout camps have. Then we have our dinner in the dining hall, and then we go into our evening activities. We run 8-week programs. First week starts 6:25, and week 8 starts at 8:13. And Hidden Valley is just it's been there for 52 years now. It's tradition, everything that we talk about for our traditional Boy Scout camps. Let's talk about Camp Bell a little bit. It's a lot different than anything else. It's more of a patrol-based camp. So scouts come in on a Sunday, and they go to their campsites. And everything is based on patrol-based at Camp Bell. So they are cooking in their sites. They'll be cooking breakfast. They'll pack lunch for themselves, and then they cook their own dinner. And the full day program is full day programming for the patrol. So the patrol will sit down and work out with the program they're doing. So it's 5 different days of 5 different activities at Camp Bell, including cooking and their evening activities. Camp Bell, what we have that's special there is we have 12 horses. So we have the farm. 12 horses, 3 pigs, 4 goats, 23 chickens. I can keep going and going. The farm is probably one of the coolest places that the kids love to go to. From the farm, we walk across the field from the paddock. We have our ATV barn. We have ATVs just like Yawgoog does. We've had ATVs for about 7 years now, and we're actually getting an additional 8 this year. So 8 new ones coming in. From there, in the ATV barn, on the other side is that climbing barn. So we have indoor climbing on the Bell side. So there's 9 different avenues of approach on the indoor climbing wall at Bell, and then you go out to the trail and you have the waterfront. And Bell Manning Lake is one of the clearest lakes in New Hampshire. There's a great rock formation where the scouts go out and kayak and they do some snorkeling. The other cool thing about Manning Lake, it's big enough that we have 2 ski boats. Last year we had just revamped and the whole boats are redone last year. Pretty much they're brand new now. And they worked out really well for us. So we have 2 boats that are going, plus sailing that is on that lake. It's a great opportunity for everybody to have. If you go up the hill where the campsites are, again, it's 2-man tents, patrol cooking, patrol tops, patrol, all the patrol equipment is provided, all cooking equipment is provided, propane is provided, and the food is provided. We have Mountain Man, which are shooting sports on the Bell side, and they're talking about doing cowboy shooting this year. So talking about the 6 shooters, the cowboy action rifles and shotguns, something really cool shooting sports people have been going into. Our Foxfire program, which is our blacksmithing program, has been growing and growing. And this year we are moving to, we have still 6 coal forges, but we are buying some propane forges for a couple other programs that we're going to be bringing in for the summer. So that's a typical week at Bell. A couple of new things that we're bringing up this year is we're going to have a couple of specialty weeks for weeks 6 and 7. And those specialty weeks is there's a horsemanship week where the scout can come in and just do horsemanship for the entire week. It all revolves around horses, going out and doing an outpost on the horses and stuff like that. Our second one that we're bringing back that we haven't seen since early 2000s is scuba. An opportunity that came up to us. So we're bringing back scuba for week 6. Another one is going to be the week is called heavy metal, and that's going to have to do with the blacksmithing, our welding lab, and everything else with STEM. And they'll be working with metals and materials and the forges for the entire week, having fun with that. And then our last week, as we all know, what's the most busiest area in camp? It's the waterfront. So we'll have an H2O week where one day there'll be sailing, one day there'll be water skiing and tubing. Next day there's snorkeling, kayak. Next day I think they're canoeing and sailing. So all through that, we'll have 4 specialty weeks that go like that. We do run a provisional camp, which runs weeks 2 through 7. And that's a full week at camp. A regular scout can come in. We have a provisional campsite as well as scoutmaster, assistant scoutmaster, both male and female. So this way we can run any type of scout that comes through. We also are running mini Provo weeks. So it's a half a week. Scout will come in on a Tuesday night and leave on Saturday with everybody else. Pricing for us starts at $620. That is the high end, and that has nothing to do with early bird or adventure card discounts. Same as Yawgoog, we accept the adventure card and we give a $50 discount. Plus the early bird, it brings us down to was $550 is what our cost, I believe, is 50 plus 20. Yep. So our top cost would be $550 for the reservation to come through. Adult leaders are 2 leaders are free, additional leaders are $275. And none of the other costs have changed. So a CIT program is still $200 for the 2 weeks, and then all of our program fees, nothing has changed. We did not increase any of those. So with that, Camp Bell and Hidden Valley are looking pretty good. Camp Bell is only open, so we do MILT week 1 at Camp Bell, and then Camp Bell is open weeks 2 through 5. So we're open for 4 weeks at Camp Bell. Anybody have any questions about Bell Valley or GSR or camp in general?
Yeah, similar question. Are any weeks sold out?
Right now we are very close to week 3 being sold out as well. I think we have room for 40 more.
And is week 3 almost sold out at which camp?
That would be both. Valley would be sold out. Bell is not yet.
Okay.
Both.
So Valley sold out.
Neither one of them is sold out yet. We have room at both camps.
Okay. Almost sold out week 3. Okay. And you mentioned cost. For actually both Drew, you and Jonathan, I've only had to use take a scout in his medical form to urgent care once during summer camp, and it was a store. And because we had a troop binder, I was able to go ahead and drop the medical form right on the lap of the person in urgent care taking care of that. Is the troop responsible for maintaining some form of medical forms for going to urgent care like that, in addition to what's submitted online? Or how does that work?
From last year, that's what we suggested. You still had a copy of your own. We could print them out right then and there. The nurses handle that. But that's where we are on that. We would still carry a copy just to have them for your own sake.
So families then would be submit one form online and submit a hard copy to me.
Mhm.
Okay, or whoever's going to be leading the week of camp. Jonathan, is that a similar situation?
You do not need a hard copy. Like you just don't need that at that point. If somebody's going to urgent care, they will have to pass through the health lodge. No ifs, ands, or buts of it. They'll be contacted, and the health lodge will get the medical form printed out immediately. If it's a rescue issue, then there will be time to print it and get it there by somebody else. So you won't have to be responsible for that. On the other side of things, like, yes, for all of your other camping trips, it would probably be beneficial that you had it and just kept the same process, but it's not required.
Yeah, that's been the other part. We accumulate all of our forms for summer camp, and that's what goes into our binder for the following school year. Plus, we have to keep extracting additional forms from parents through the course of the year as new scouts and whatever, but kids that don't go to camp. Okay, this is perfectly well timed. As I said, I gotta see what adults I can recruit up at troop committee Tuesday night. Yeah, do you have anything, Drew, do you have anything to say about your facilities? I heard 2-man tents, and we're used to, we're coming from store, right? We got, traditionally, so, on-site latrines and 2-man tents and central bathhouse, for showers, and some flush toilets there in the center camp with the, the dining hall and stuff.
Yep. So at Hidden Valley, we have 2 shower houses that are both sides of the camp. Each campsite has the pit latrine plus, the tents and your patrol sites that are there. Shower houses have latrines. In main camp, the dining hall has flush toilets. Called a lodge has flush toilets. We have a visitors bathhouse that has all flush toilets right by the waterfront, plus changing houses and stuff like that. So we're in the midst of switching everything over. If I could tell you what the cost was for a shower house, I'm sure my friend down there, Jonathan, can tell you what it's disgustingly expensive. We just had someone out of Connecticut. They just did one. It was up $350,000 for their shower house and their toilets. So it's not.
Yeah. Treasure Valley was updating the campsites to toilets, and it backfired when they were using the facilities for winter camp. So they need to, they've kind of put the brakes on that and keep the pit toilets so you can use the campsites year round. It was kind of a pain because it was quite a hike to the latrines for us, that one trip we stayed there during the wintertime.
A question about Camp Bell. You say patrol, it's all based on patrol activity. Is there an opportunity for the scouts to earn merit badges in that format, or is it?
Yes, absolutely. So they could choose whichever route that the patrol wants to go. Say they're going to the waterfront, they want to work on the water sports merit badge, they can do so. If they want to do swimming together, they can do the swimming merit badge together. If they want to work together for the horsemanship merit badge, they can do so. We have a Brown Sea program at Bell that's kind of the first year program. The search and rescue, first aid, pioneering projects. I think E-Prep is in there. Up at the range at Bell, if they're doing Mountain Man program, they can earn shotgun, they can earn archery, I think pioneering. So yeah, there's quite a bit of different merit badges that they can earn while they're at Bell. It all depends on what they want to do as a patrol.
So do you find
that's great. Do
you find that stratifies patrols kind of by age? Because the first year kids all want to do, they want to do Brownsy or they want to do swimming merit badge, and older scouts might be more interested in environmental science or something like that, or whatever else they can get done at camp, or first aid.
So yep, sometimes they'll switch. They'll be a first year patrol. Sometimes they're a mixed patrol. It all depends. Some troops, they only have a patrol for a troop. So they're coming in and kind of mixing it up. At Bell, we like to keep them in the patrol if we have to. Some of the older scouts, if it's a mixed patrol, some of the older scouts want to do ATVs, right? So we can only do 14 and older on ATVs. So we might split them up for a day of activities. And the older kids will go out on the ATVs, and the younger kids will go out in the ski boat and tube all day. With the program directors there can help with whatever facilitation you guys need with the age of your scouts and what's available.
Question that, for both of you, the patrol cooking situation, do you provide access for refrigeration for the unit, or how does that work?
We do on the Bell side. We have refrigeration. So again, we bring up our food. The food is provided. So units aren't bringing in their own food. But we do have areas. So kids will come in that have severe allergies. I'm sure Jonathan has the same thing, where the parents end up packing the entire week's worth of food for the kid. And we have places to put that into the refrigerator for them and make sure they have places to store it.
Yes, lots of allergies. But generally patrol cooking isn't a thing. So like if you are structuring a certain meal or have a time, even if it's someone wants to do an ice cream, like, yes, talk with the kitchen staff, and we've got plenty of places to keep that cold, refrigerated, frozen, however you need. But generally, like if you're looking to just do patrol cooking at camp, that's not really what our structure kind of is. But we're willing to work with you a little bit during the week to make that happen.
Got another medical question. Probably the biggest area of questions, right? Vaccinations. Massachusetts, or traditionally, scouting is only really required unless you file the exemption form to tetanus, and then the states have not interfered with that. But I have heard recently is that New Hampshire has raised the stakes on required vaccinations, and I have no idea what Rhode Island is for. And this is not just for scout camps; this is just for summer camps. Can you address that?
For my end, there is not much change that I've even heard of. I didn't know that was a thing for New Hampshire, possibly. But it's within the past 10 years, unless you're filing that exemption form. So no real change on our end.
Yeah, and on my end, I remember last year something changed, but there was something with the exemption forms that was still good to go. So if you had people that were religious exempt or something like that, there was still no issue whatsoever for them to come into camp.
Okay. Yeah, I do have one family that's doesn't do much for vaccinations, and that it also applies on the COVID side. No requirements. Okay.
We don't require COVID.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Any other questions?
George, you want to ask your question?
Well, let's say, I guess maybe I will. If at Hidden Valley, our troop goes up there every summer, but I've never been there with our pack. Do you happen to have any special things for Cub Scouts, or is it pretty much just off-season open campsites?
Just off-season open campsite. If you're interested in Cub Scout camp, Camp Carpenter in Manchester is Cub Scout camp. I could set you up with, if you want to send me an email, I can set you up with the director over there.
Sounds good. Thanks. Yeah, I think we have a contact with there already. So thank you.
Yeah, as you're well aware, Spirit of Adventure is not running camp, so I think that the Scouts PSA programs don't mind traveling a little further for the week, but in fact, Store was quite a hike anyway. But yeah, I can imagine the Cub Scouts for the day. I guess maybe Milton still runs some day camp programs and stuff. I don't know, but it's got to hurt a little bit.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, thank you for coming out tonight. I appreciate your help. We've got the contact information for everybody, and I'm sure you'll be hearing from us.
Awesome. Thank you for the opportunity again.
Yeah. Nice job.
Excellent. Thank you all. Thank you for the opportunity. Have a great night.
Yeah,
Good.
Drew,
Very
thank you
good.
for that background. It looks like summer instead of what we've got
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on Camp Bell. That's on top of Mount Mac, overlooking the west of the state of New Hampshire. So, but everybody have a great night.
Okay.
Thank you.
You-
Well, that leaves the rest of us.
Hi,
we
Kevin.
lost-
Thanks for coming.
Ron, we lost a video on you. There you are.
He's back.
No, but it's not
You can
moving.
go ahead. I think I'm here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your image is jerking around a little bit, but a lot bit. Actually, it hasn't moved now for a few seconds.
Because I'm shaking. Steve, Steve, you want to talk about Frostpoint and the Winter Camping Awards? Go back to our original agenda.
Back to the original agenda. Yeah, I do. And I want to share my screen because the patches are here in my hands. And rather than holding them up to the camera, which I think would be not a good clear shot, I've got a photograph. So here you should be seeing the 3 Frost Point Awards. The white one is the first level of degrees. The blue border is the second level degrees, and the purple one is the highest order of degrees because that's the color your lips turn when you've been out in the cold that long during the winter. And the idea is that unit leaders keep track of the number of degrees below freezing that scouts camp in a tent from November through March, and then report that to me, and we will create some kind of a scale in terms of the lowest number of degrees below freezing, the highest number of degrees below freezing, and we'll give you the patches. Originally, we we're going to make you pay for them, but we decided we're just going to give them to you because it's not a significant expense. And if that encourages more people to use them and recognize youth with, patches for winter camping, then that's a good thing. We also want to recognize the youth who get the purple bordered patch, who have the highest degrees of freezing, or I should say the coldest scouts in the district. During the annual district dinner and recognition event, which will be in April, we had to reschedule the date. I think it's going to be on Thursday, the 27th, but we haven't confirmed that yet. And it will be at the First Baptist Church in Arlington. So a notice will go out about that shortly. So again, unit leaders track the degrees below freezing that their scouts camp in a tent. They report those numbers to me, the names and the degrees below freezing cumulatively for November through March. And then we will create some kind of a scale and award you patches. And it's Scoutmaster's discretion. So if you tell me, you want this guy to get the purple and this guy to get the white, that's good with me. We can scale it for each unit. Then these are for camping below freezing in a tent, but they're not cumulative awards. The Snowy Owl Award is for camping one night below freezing in a tent, and the Deep Freeze patch is for camping 2 nights below freezing in a tent. And again, it's Scoutmaster's discretion. You tell me, and I will give you the patches. And I don't need to know names. You just tell me how many guys in your unit camped one night below freezing or camped 2 nights below freezing, and I'll give you the patches. And the idea here is that it really should be 2 different camping trips. oftentimes scouts go, oftentimes units go camping 2 nights regardless. But it's not like it has to be a 1-night camping trip, so long as one of the 2 nights that you're camping, hit freezing, that counts. And if both nights hit freezing, then you get the deep freeze patch, okay? So I have those in hand. I think they came out rather well in the design and the actual manufacturing of them, and I'd love to see scouts wearing them.
They look great, Steve. They look great.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'm glad you like them. So again, Snowy Owl is 1 night in a tent below freezing, and Deep Freeze is 2 nights in a tent below freezing. Scoutmaster tells me who deserves them, and I'll give you the patches without charge. Frost points are cumulative, the number of degrees below freezing that a scout camps in a tent from November through March. And again, it's Scoutmaster's discretion. You tell me who deserves which, with purple being the coldest and white being the least cold, and then blue in the middle. And I'll give you the patches, and I'll make a big deal out of it and come and present them to you if you want, or you can have them and make a big deal out of it yourself. And I'd like to get, like to invite those scouts that get the purple patch to the annual recognition dinner in April, probably the 27th, Thursday evening at First Baptist Church. Okay, that's it for me.
Super. Let me.
Ron, on the agenda, am I on agenda 2 for the camper?
Yeah, for the camporee, that would be great.
Yeah, so real quickly, we're a bit disappointed, but the approval process with the city of Waltham turned to be a bit more involved than we had anticipated. And so in order to satisfy the requirements, we're rescheduling it to May of 2024 rather than this May. So I'm sorry to leave a hole in your calendar, but I think it'll give us an opportunity to do an even better job of planning and organizing for 2024. The issue is that they're treating us, the technical requirements we have to satisfy are the same ones that they would make a summer camp satisfy, which we're not really understanding why, but that's what the legal department feels they have to do. And we haven't had an opportunity to contest that in any sort of, meaningful way. So, but in the meantime, we're working to satisfy the requirements, which is, a lot of documentation, and put together a plan. So May 11 should be the week, not May 11. The first weekend in May 2024, 3, 4, 5, I think.
Yes, I think that's the dates we set up.
May 11, though, is another date you should put on your calendar for the annual program kickoff. The last number of years, we've been doing it in August, and we know that this is rather late for units to plan their coming, calendar year. Most units do it in June, and so we figure by getting by doing a program kickoff in May 11, we'll give you a chance to plan stuff into your calendar in a more organized way. So that's it for me. We got camporee pushes to 2024. Annual recognition dinner will likely be on April 27 at First Baptist Church in Arlington. And program kickoff will also be at First Baptist Church, Arlington on May 11, also a Thursday evening. Thank you, Ron.
That's great. The other point, which wasn't brought up about the Klondike Derby, that the registration January, the event will be held at TL Store, Barnstead, New Hampshire, and hopefully Leader's Guide and stuff will be out to people. But that we've used in the past. If you want, I can email to you if that would help.
Yeah, Ron,
Yeah,
know
Robert
if
had
you-
sent that to me already, so yeah, I just didn't look through it
Do
thoroughly.
you have? Mhm. Okay, John, do you have anything to say about the commissioner business?
Oh, rechartering is dragging its feet. The process was changed this year to make it easier, more streamlined, and didn't quite work yet, but it's the first year trying that one. They'll get better. Quite a few units have reportedly not even started, not even gone on to get their roster
good.
printed out. So I got one, yeah, I got a couple of them helping get it. The big worst problem is you get all the way through with all the registration material, all the scouts in and out, who you lost, who you gained, all the information on the leaders as well. And then you find out some adult did not do the youth protection training, and you can't drop him because he's a required position. He or she is a required position. So I started pushing it way back in October for the people from at least one unit to get their youth protection training done, because it expired in November for almost all of them, and they're still dragging. But fortunately it's still working. I'm still allowed as a delegate or designee. National didn't kick me out as of December 31st, as was advertised, so I can still get in and check each day while I keep contacting those people. But yeah, it goes on. Something else for Cub Scouting, our district Pinewood Derby. George, you're not the only one interested in it. I've got a couple of requests of what's the date. I have to get information from the people who usually help me. And I haven't heard back from everybody. So that I'm I'm asking for them since we're not using it for the camporee, district camporee, I'm going to use the Saturday of first Saturday in May, I think is the 5th, if I recall it correctly, and shooting for something like that, not earlier, to allow units. The other difficulty has always been some units don't do their own pack Pinewood Derby until very late into April, after Easter. I don't understand why, but so I don't want to move into June. May gets clogged up with a whole bunch of other things, but if we can get it in for the first weekend, I got to find a location. I may have to request Robert Logan's assistance again to use the same old school building that Waltham lets his troop use without any liability insurance or that kind of garbage. But maybe even somebody else would be willing to be willing to host the District Pinewood Derby. George, that's where I was thinking of you. You got a nice big parking lot there. You're right off Route 2, the Park Ave exit. So we might be able to, I like to do it close to the center of the council. Waltham's pretty far west. But if we can get a date established, and then we can request from the facilities, if you'd be willing to host it, it doesn't take much. And if you got a track, that means I don't have to drag one over from Troop 306 in Arlington.
Yes, we do have a track, and the church might be happy to host it. So yeah, just give us some suggested days, and I'll follow through and see what we can do.
Okay, that May, first Saturday in May.
Right, okay, sounds good.
First offering. I don't know if you want to try doing a bake sale. We had somebody brought in pastries last time, and they just, donuts and stuff, they disappeared very quickly. We weren't selling them either. They were just out there on the table. They were brought in for the leaders or the workers. The kids somehow found out there were donuts over there. That took care of them. But it might be an opportunity for a bake sale. We'll have to talk about that later. One other thing, from our district committee meeting, we talked about possibly having a silent auction at either the district awards dinner, as has been done in the past, or probably better is at the kickoff, May 11th. that Thursday night, although it is a weeknight, patches and mugs and other paraphernalia that we use to finance the treats, or not treats, the juice and cookies for roundtables when we get back to having them in person.
Yeah. Well, we've been having virtual cookies.
Yes, we have. You bring your own to your tabletop with your laptop. Yes, right. Way to go, Art. Sneaking those in. You thought we didn't notice, right? So we may be able to pull that off again. I just ran across a bag full of mugs that Jonathan Groves had left. And I have. Well, that's something Steve Sukikian, our district chairman, is very interested in. I was sent 2 large boxes, cubic boxes, like 1.5 feet, 18 inches dimension, of stuff from, what was the name of the camp, Steve?
Camp Sachem.
Camp Sachem. If any of you are familiar with that, or you spent time there, like Steve did, back in the 70s. There are patches, there are t-shirts, there are sweatshirts, jackets, neckerchiefs that I think were from a national camporee or something. They're really cool items I had never even knew existed. So it was sent to us from somebody who was connected with that camp. I think he was connected with their scout store there. It's called something else, but he just shipped those off at his own expense, so we could do what we want with them, and raising a little money and getting patches and stuff like that into the hands of people who appreciate it would be the great thing. If we make a little money on it, fine. The silent auction, the bids never get very high unless there's 2 people that really want an item. So something like that to look for. We may do a little sort of like dress rehearsal or showing them off at the district awards dinner to prompt people to then come to the kickoff and be ready to bid, bring money. No checks accepted. So I think that's all I have.
Okay. Well, I think that's about it for the night then.
I think we ran right up. Oh, we got
Yeah.
20 minutes to spare.
I am very surprised that the presentations went as quickly as they did.
Well, we've had those fellows both, I think, before, so.
They did. They
I
came
know
last.
the video for the first one was really good.
Yeah.
Of course, answers a lot of questions. You get to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
I hope that really helped. I think those guys were happy to have the promotion time too.
Right. The other thing is, since this roundtable is recorded, it is accessible. So if you have parents who would like to see the options, they're out there. They'll be out there immediately. So that's potentially helpful
Right.
in decision.
Oh, I'm glad I used the term garbage earlier then.
Yeah, I kind of forget.
It almost slipped out to be something else.
Scout Sunday is coming up in February. I know it's been something that is, it's kind of come up in the past, but usually it's ended up landing on a weekend that we're camping. But I think this year we're clear. We have nobody in our troop has any experience with Scout Sunday. We are in a process where our charter organization is going to be selling their building and probably by the end of 23, early 24. So is that something that any of the other troops have been involved with, or Cub Packs to help with? And what do you typically do? I need to talk to our charter organization rep, because I think we're kind of, neither one of us have seen this happen in at least quite a while.
So how it works for us is that our troop and our pack are invited to participate in our church. And basically someone talks to the priests and says, well, this is Scout Sunday. How can we help by participating in a church service? And they just tell us what to do. And, even the scouts who don't participate come in uniforms and sit together, and
Mhm.
yeah, that's kind of how we do it.
Yeah, what we've done is usually the priest is on board with it. So the entering procession, the scouts proceed up with the flags and then sit in the church. Sometimes if it's an older scout, depending on the priest's discretion, so they've participated doing part of the readings. It's Catholic Church, so they've been Eucharistic ministers who were in their home parish. They would serve as that. And then what we would do is it was timed. The church had a coffee hour after that particular mass. We would have a coffee hour / breakfast for the people who were in the church. Thanks to Mike Piazza's hard work, we supplied them with a hot breakfast. That's one way of doing it. One year we also did it, coordinated it such that the scouts who'd earned religious awards had them presented as part of the mass.
Right.
So numbers of different ways to do it.
Yeah.
A lot depends on what kind of relationship you have with the pastor of the church.
Right. And for the religious emblems, you need to have started the planning and the work a lot earlier, so you can do the recognition.
Right. You start in the fall for that to have it wrap up by February.
At 248, when we were at First Baptist Church, I don't know what it would be like at Our Lady's, but at First Baptist, we had a tradition of doing a pancake breakfast, and we would do a Scouts own service during for the parishioners during their service. They had, I forget, they had a particular time in their service that they could set aside for, us lay people to do something. And we'd get the scouts in front of the room, and we'd have senior patrol leader or whoever was supposed to be the chaplain or who needed it for, a merit badge or something. They would organize a Scouts own using resources from the BSA or stuff that they, found on their own. And they'd get up in front of the parish and recite these things. The easiest thing to do was to take the Scout law and, relate it to, to faith. And then at the end of the service, that church had a practice of having fellowship down in the basement, in the church hall, following their service on every Sunday anyway. And so we would, while the boys were upstairs doing their Scouts own, the parents would be down in the kitchen cooking up a pancake breakfast, and we'd serve 60 some odd parishioners along with the scouts and a handful of parents, a pancake breakfast with sausage and a fruit cup, and whatever else. We'd have like berries and whipped cream and stuff for the pancakes, and they loved it. The parishioners absolutely loved it. We haven't worked out any sort of arrangement with the Our Lady's Church yet. We'll see, but we like to be friendly with our friends over at the First Baptist, so we'll at least send them a bouquet of flowers to put on the altar, which was also part of the practice,
Thank you very much. Gives me some thoughts when I talk to our CO, our Charter Organization rep there, to see what once again, troop committees on Tuesday, a bunch of things kind of stacking up together here.
Art, the thing that always appealed to me about doing a Scouts own during the service was the message that this is what Scouts are supposed to do anyway on a Sunday when they're on a camping trip and can't go to church. They can do this non-denominational service on their own. And some of the parishioners, thought that was special. Who put in the Scout Shabbat info?
Jenna.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I found that in an email that was sent out to us from the council, and put it on the district Facebook page, the more we can spread that news, the better.
I believe the Scout Sunday is always the Sunday before February 8th, the scouting anniversary. So that's going to put it at the 5th of February. But you can do it anytime.
Yeah, the United Methodist Church has always done it differently.
Yeah.
They've,
Yeah.
I think,
I mean, right, any time in February is a good Sunday,
Yeah, right. When it falls on the 8th, you can do it on the 8th, but
right?
yeah,
sometimes you don't really have to do it before the Sunday, exact Sunday before the 8th. So,
yeah, I think typically it's been the one after for at the United Methodist Church.
Yeah, we always had an issue with the Baptist because on February 8th, or as close to that date as you could get, they had some kind of institutional event happening. We could never do it,
Exactly.
in February, so we
Mhm.
always did it in March.
Okay.
well, there is one day, I think it came up with our district meeting. The fourth day of May is always May the 4th be with you. So be careful of that one. I think that's going to be the day after or the day before we do the district Pinewood Derby. It's going to be a Friday this year, but kids love that theme. So do adults. Star Wars. So what the heck. I've seen Pinewood Derby cars that looked like some kind of Star Wars vehicle. One of the 6 incarnations of that series. So
Is the Pinewood Derby on Friday or Saturday, John?
the what?
Is the Pinewood Derby on Friday or Saturday?
It's always a Saturday.
Saturday, so that'll be the 6th then, May 6th.
Right. Oh, it's on the 6th. Oh, yes, May. I was thinking February. This first Friday is the 5th. So, okay.
Okay.
So much for stumbling over my own suggestions, but
Well, maybe this is the time that I can thank all of you. I'm going to do a little impromptu speech here. So I took the Wood Badge course last year, and
Very good.
as part of my ticket, one of the items I suggested or I proposed to do was attend a certain number of roundtables, and it just so happens that this is the last one that I promised to attend.
well, we hope to see you some more.
So I think I can earn my beads. So hopefully I'll see all of you again. But anyway, thank you for making this happen.
Yeah.
Congratulations, George. Don't be a
All right.
stranger. Keep coming back.
Okay.
Yeah. What were your other ticket items?
So the other ticket items were, one thing, we're setting up outdoor resources for our neighbor, our town, and places to go nearby for hikes and bikes and all of that kind of thing. Some other things we're getting kind of all of us stuff organized so that whenever I retire from being a Cub master, that then all of my stuff will be nicely organized up in the cloud somewhere so that other people can get to it. Same thing for den materials as far as activities for den meetings and all that kind of stuff. So kind of better sharing of information, as well as I think the one other thing was like a handbook for new parents, which basically was just an expansion of what the BSA has now, which says this is what Cub Scouts is all about. This is what's important for us, and then adding some special information for our pack at the end.
Would that be uniformly applicable to other units?
Yes, yeah. As a matter of fact, I think the BSA did a pretty good job at this Welcome to Cub Scouts booklet.
Okay.
Because families, we get, probably like a lot of you, we get some families whose kids are in Scouts largely because their parents were, so they kind of know what it's all about.
Mhm.
Whereas other people have absolutely no idea. And when we start talking about all this stuff, like, well, what's the Scout oath and law, and how does that fit in with anything else? And this little booklet kind of explains it pretty nicely.
Do you include in your information for other leaders, the sort of a tailored listing of activities and places that have programs that individual dens can go to in case the Cubs?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah.
Nice thing to gather. So you still have 5 requirements for your ticket?
Well, this was, I had finished the other 4, and this meeting was the last of the.
The last of the last.
Last of the last.
Yes, right, exactly.
Well, we're glad you joined
Yeah.
us for that.
Okay, oh, well, thank you for having these.
Yes. But to pass that on to other people, one way they can complete some of their ticket items.
Right, we push that as ticket items, yeah.
Of course, you got to write your own ticket, so you got to get it in their head ahead of time. Which class did you take? What was the number of it?
Oh, I don't happen to know that offhand. That was the one that was organized by our council and a couple of other councils.
Yeah. So was it any 1, 2, 3, 4?
Actually, let me see if I can find it right now. And
Who was your troop guide?
I'll get that back to you. So my troop guide was Anna. What's her last name now? Anna St. Louis. I think this was her first time for being a troop guide.
Oh.
Yeah,
No?
I'm not acquainted with her, but thanks.
Yeah,
Okay,
if you-
sure.
Of course, they told you if you are on the staff for a wood badge class, you earn a 3rd bead. You get the first 2 from completing your ticket.
Yeah,
Okay.
And if you are crazy enough to become the course director, you can get the 4th bead.
Oh, right.
There is no 5th bead, so you gotta be, you've already been sent away by the time you got the 4th one done. Okay, well, that's great, George. Glad to hear it. Nice
Oh,
to know
thank
that
you.
you're getting that done for the wood badge. Oh, what critter?
Oh, owl.
Owl.
Yes.
One
what do we
step.
got here? I'm a buffalo.
Bob White, bottom of the
Beaver.
ladder. Owls are slightly ahead.
Ron's a beaver.
Wow.
Ken's a bear.
Oh,
And
we have an impressive gang here.
yeah, we don't take that literally.
It's a menagerie, that's for sure. Okay,
Okay,
So we
Well,
done for the night then?
yeah, I think we are. Next month, scouting history, and we'll do some things since it will be Scout anniversary month. We'll talk a little bit about Scout history. Okay, thank you everybody for coming. Hope the information from summer camp is valuable to you and your troop, and we'll see you all next month.
Very good. Okay,
Take care.
good night. I'm
Thank you.
gonna end the
Good night.
recording.
Thank you.